President Cyril Ramaphosa launched government's plans to improve the provision of sanitation infrastructure in mostly rural areas at a ceremony in Pretoria this morning.
Now, this follows the public outcry over failure by the Department of Basic Education to eradicate pit latrines in the country's poorest schools. President Ramaphosa says South Africa is committed to attaining adequate sanitation and good hygiene for all by 2030.
It is a pity that this type of initiative was sparked off by the tragedy of young people dying, but it is better not to have left it like that and do nothing. Today, we are doing something about it. The utterly tragic and devastating deaths of children so young and so innocent remind us of the human consequences of service delivery that is deferred, service delivery that is derailed, service delivery that is delayed, and also service delivery that is denied to our people. They remind us that we must focus all our attention not on what we have achieved, but on what we have not achieved. We have achieved a great deal. The time has now come for us to move beyond focusing on, yes, lauding ourselves with praises on what we have achieved. We must now zero into what we have not done and make sure that we implement our plans and we pay attention to that which we are supposed to do. We have heard the cries of anguished families. We have felt the outrage of a society that cannot bear to witness to another needless death of a young person, the future of our nation. It is our responsibility as government, but it is also our responsibility as business, as civil society, yes, as parents, as teachers, and indeed as communities, to act with purpose, but also to inject urgency and unity in that purpose. Through the SAFE initiative, we can all help to restore the dignity of learners in mostly rural and township schools by providing age-appropriate sanitation facilities. Just as it takes a village to raise a child, so too does it take an entire society to educate a child. With today's launch, we are calling on all South Africans. We're calling on the corporates in our country, NGOs, and international partners to be part of this ambitious but also necessary effort to give effect to the fundamental human rights of our learners. In doing so, we will also be contributing to the improvement of our education system. We cannot expose our learners and educators to an environment that is not conducive to teaching and learning and still expect excellent education outcomes. We will also be contributing to the broader goal of decent sanitation for all our people. As we heard earlier from our colleague Ndadeli Sufi, who said that schools are centers not only of education, but they are community centers as well. Our funerals are held in schools, our weddings are held in schools, our community meetings are held in schools. So schools have become the epicenter of community collaboration, community communion, community acting together. So it is in these schools where we need, yes, to give life and meaning to our call for decent education for all our people. The United Nations Development Programme estimates that globally there are more than 2.4 billion people who do not have access to basic sanitation like toilets and latrines. Through the Sustainable Development Goals, global leaders have agreed that by 2030, we must have achieved access to adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene for all. Aware of this of the importance of adequate sanitation in preventing diseases and ensuring economic and social benefits, South Africa is committed to attaining the targets of sanitation for all by 2030.